I appreciate this service very much. It pushes pretty much all of my buttons, and I have a lot. But one of the things I wrote down that Phil was speaking on, about how God allows situations to push our buttons, to cause us to make a choice, to either respond as the world would or respond as Christ would. And of course, if we respond as the world does, then all kinds of bad things are going to happen. We respond as Christ would, we become more Christ-like. And that's the whole point of the trials that we go through. But a thought came to me too, and I wrote this down, and Lord help me actually say this in a way that makes sense. But and I thought of the young people, especially when I thought of this, or God let me think of it, whatever. I'm really nervous, I'm sorry. I wrote down, let's not look for something we want to do and say, okay, God, here's something you can use to change me. How prideful. And if we really think about it, we will do that. We may not consciously think of it, but we may put ourselves in a situation and probably know it's not for the best, but we're like, well, God will help, God will get me through this, God will change me in this, whatever. Don't test. It's just not good. And it's pride. And that's not good either. And especially for young people, I know that y'all will be tempted to do things and be a part of things. And a young person a couple of months ago said, and it grieved me when this person said this, they were going to the beach or something like that with some friends, and they were talking about stuff that was going to happen, whatever they were going to do, and we were telling this young person, be careful, pay attention to what you're doing, this and that and the other. And they were like, oh, well, I've got people praying for me all the time. Nothing's going to happen to me. And I was like, oh, dear God. Please don't be that stupid. And then this person grew up in the church. Don't think that way, because God will allow things. Don't look for trouble. God will bring you things to test you and push those buttons. And somewhere in the Bible it says, don't look for trouble tomorrow, or don't worry about tomorrow. Today's got enough trouble of its own. Get through today's trouble. Don't look for, just don't look for it. But, because then, it's just a snowball effect. And also, when he was talking about how people when you're married, you argue. You have heated conversations and things of that nature. And when Phil was talking about that, and I wrote down the verses 17 through 19 in Romans 12 that we were just reading, and the thought came to me, do you want to be right or happy? And if you really think about it, being right and being happy are not synonymous at all. So that was just something I thought about as well that I would share. And even, parents and kids going back and forth. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Whether it's the kid, hi Chase, or do you want to be happy? So those were just some thoughts that came to my mind, and I hope they're helpful to somebody, because this service was definitely helpful to me on many levels. And then I can go home and share it with Jeff, who's working. But at any rate, and this is good too, because he and I have an opportunity to spend some time with Jim's daughter Carrie and her husband Patrick, and soon, hopefully. They live a couple of hours from here near Charlotte. And if y'all could pray with us about fellowshipping with them and how we would interact with them and what we can say to be edifying, I guess is the word. We would definitely appreciate that. We're actively in a conversation with them to spend a weekend with them and just show Christ. And because they need it. I mean, we all need it. But at any rate, so I appreciate that. And I would definitely be going home and reading this stuff again, the Romans 12 and 13, probably the rest of it too. But I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate the service. Thank you, Phil, for allowing the Lord to use you and your willingness to submit. And but I think that's all. I love you guys. Thank you.